Welcome back to Texas Truck Channel. I'm Brian.
I'm Craig.
And we've got something today that is purely fun, and that's the beauty of what the side-by-side community can be. They don't have to worry about EPA standards. They don't have to worry about crash mitigation. They don't have to worry about lane keeping assist and CVT. Well, wait a minute. Well, but they still have CVTs, Craig, don't they?
They do have CVTs,
they do have CVTs.
But don't have to worry about pedestrian safety.
Exactly. So the whole point of something from Polaris is to simply be fun or utilitarian. This happens to do a little bit of both. And as you know, we've dipped our toe pretty well, more like our ankle, into the Overland scene right now. That's what this focus is on entirely. This is the 24 Polaris Xpedition ADV Ultimate. And that means it's the 2-seater, not the 5-seater. So it's shorter, it has a better wheelbase for off-roading. And the whole point of this thing is that it has a roll cage that is so beefy, it's designed to handle weight on the roof, meaning a rooftop tent. Polaris was kind enough to send us one with that tent, so we can show you all about that. Before we dive too deep into it, I want to get the Monroney stuff out of the way. This one, as spec with the accessories that it has a bumper, it has side plates, it has the tent, which is a couple grand, it has a light bar up top and rigid lights in the bottom and a few other tidbits. Just a pinch over $42,000. We got to stop right there real quick, and this is no jab to anyone at Polaris. We love that team. That's a lot of money. It's a whole lot of money. So in coming from the road-going vehicle world, our personal Ford Ranger that we have built out, Craig, with the parts we put on it is less than this by several $1,000s. So I just want to point out that if you are getting this, it's a toy to you. So you're getting this instead of a boat maybe. And off-roading is very important to you, and you want to go somewhere that something with full fenders won't do. True. That's where this comes in. True. Exactly. And you want to go adventure and be off grid, this can do all that stuff.
You don't have to go back to base camp with this one. You are the camp.
You're taking the base camp with you. So yeah, just cool. Know that as you're going through this, and before you flip over your YouTube screen, yeah, that's a lot of money, but the person that buys this needs a tool that's specific for a task. That's what this is. So let's get it real quick. It's 64 inches wide, so it will be too wide for a 50-inch trail, which is what a lot of your ATV trails are on. So it's really UTV territory. But your Moab, Colorado stuff, it'll go anywhere. You're covered for that. This one happens to have, Craig, and this is the thing I like the most. We drive more and more Polarises these days. The ProStar engines are so good. Whether it's the Slingshot, whether it's that ATV right there, the 2-up, or whether it's this one right here, which is the 2-cylinder version, 1000cc or 999cc, 114 horsepower out of 1 liter of displacement. That's incredible. And the way that it builds power, because it's twin cam, and goes up. I know it's CVT, so it doesn't. You don't get this bump, bump, bump shifting. It feels like a boat at speed. It goes.
It's a lot like a boat.
And then because you have so much weight up top and you have some wind resistance here, and the suspension is so soft, it just goes. It feels like you're up on a plane.
Yes.
If you let off on the brake, it goes. It comes down. It's really kind of cool. I like that a lot. So let's talk about the goodies here. Approach angle is basically infinite. If you look at profile, Craig, I think it can go up a wall. That's a big deal. I want to talk about the front and the noses real quick. This is that aftermarket winch, which we like a lot. And just like typical Polaris stuff, you get a winch with this one. And this thing is rated for, I think it's 2,000 pounds. 4,500 pounds with a fully synthetic rope on the side or on it. So this will cover anything this rig needs to do. This actually weighs in right at 2250 with a 100-pound tent on top. So 2350 is about the weight. These rigid lights are part of the accessories, as is a light bar on the roof. You also get a forward-facing cam for trail use, which is neat and it works well. But most forward-facing cams aren't going to replace a spotter, but it's going to give you an idea of how close you are on an obstacle that you may have already looked at. So that's good. Before we go any further, I cannot ignore it, Craig. We've got to check out suspension. And this is on all 4 corners, but it's a big deal. So you've got the Fox 2.0s, and these are adaptable. These are much like, in terms of from Fox specifically, these are what you get on a Tacoma TRD Pro. So the valving is different, obviously the spring is different, all that stuff, but the shock diameter and the technology in it is the same as that. So it has got a lot of beef. The only difference is this has a lot more suspension travel. 4-wheel independent suspension, dual A-arm, and we also have the optional skid plates for the A-arms down low. This thing is really plated up really well. You have braided stainless steel lines for the braking as well. So pretty happy with that. Those are awesome. And I've got them in the firmest setting right now, and it feels a little too soft still for performance stuff, but perfect for trails at speed. One more thing to point out, Craig, before we go any further. We do have, Polaris has been really good with this and all their stuff. They have a trickle charging port right on the front. If I can get it open, there we go. So if this is a seasonal tool for you and you're not using it for a while, you can plug it in and it's always good to go in your garage. That's pretty cool. Wheels and tires. Let's check these guys out. Wheels and tires. These are the wheels that come on this. These are Pro Armors. They're the Crawler XPs. They're 30 by 11 by 15. So you get 15s on this, which is bigger than some cheap economy cars back in the day. That's how beefy these things are. I want to say I do like the tread pattern a lot. They are aggressive enough for mud work, but quiet enough to do 60 miles an hour on pavement as we've tested. And it's manageable. It's not just howling or going wall, 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 wall. It's actually pretty good. I like those quite a bit. Coming on down, we do have mirrors on this, which is nice. We've had some of these without them. That's been really, really helpful.
Very nice.
If
especially
you're doing
that rear view mirror.
Absolutely. Look, we don't live in Moab, so we do some neighborhood crawling, as I'll say. And you want to make sure you're blending with traffic that's around you sometimes, and that's nice to have that. On the side, you've got full protection. This is part of that extra skid plate package. That rock rail starts here, protects the fender liner, goes all the way to the back, and does the same thing. You could grind the whole thing on that. It's pretty cool. Something else I noticed I was really happy with. Fuel capacity on this is massive. We've only filled it up once, and we've still got a ton of gas left in this thing. It's 12.5 gallons. That's a lot. You know what Mustangs give you, Craig? 16. That's a road-going car, so I'm impressed with that. Really good on that.
Well, when you're off-grid and you're actually bringing camp with you, the whole reason you're taking this is because you're going to get far away from somebody.
Right.
That's about 200 miles of range. That's a lot on trails. You're getting pretty far with that.
Absolutely. And the beauty of the Xpedition, Craig, is it has this roof rack I keep going back to. It is beefy from the factory, meant to handle weight, which means you see these holes right here. You can mount molly panels here, put your extra fuel, extra water, whatever you need. You've got room and storage for that. That's the whole ethos of this thing as you're going through it. Also, you don't have a snorkel, but you basically have a built-in one right here. The intake's on the backside, and it's a higher intake. It means you can go through water really deep. I think the forward water line is actually about here. It's the dashboard. It's really wild. So let's come around the back. I'm not going to do the interior. Craig's going to cover that. We do have our rooftop tent up here with a Rhino rack platform that it's on. Really nice design, really solid. And we actually towed this thing to Colorado, Craig, to do some wheeling. Unfortunately, that didn't work out for wheeling, but we did have it as a great tow test tool. That puppy right there is dragging some wind. But I will tell you, there is no damage or problems from it with all that wind resistance on highway. It's pretty well built cover. All right, before we go any further, Craig, I want to talk about payload capacity. Payload capacity on the rig entirely is 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
That's pretty good. That's better than some pickup trucks. We had a Ram last week with air ride that was 900 pounds. That's pretty impressive. Beyond that, you do have a 2-inch receiver. Thank goodness they're doing that. It's not the 1-inch DK one, which they still do in their Sportsman's, kind of silly. They do the proper one here. It's good to tow 2,000 pounds on the hitch. And the reason why it's not more is because the suspension is not made for that. The Ranger will do more. The Ranger is closer to 3,500 pounds. So we've got a recovery point on ours because we want to be ready for where we're going, but that's basically it. Rear A-arms still have their skid plate protection, which is pretty cool. As you can tell, it's the high arc angles, so the high clearance A-arms. So this thing's ready to go over rocks, whatever we have. All right, before we go any further, I want to see what this sweet ProStar sounds like. Okay, not bad. You do have sport modes inside too. I forgot about that. It's kind of snappy on sport, kind of not on comfort. What does it sound like out here?
Sound like a twin unencumbered by emissions.
I love that. Let's go check out the interior.
All right, Brian, let's try to check out the interior, what little there is, of this adventure, expedition, whatever we call this thing, Xpedition.
Yeah.
Brian, let's first off, the tailgate is not dampened, but that's okay because, again, it's a UTV. It doesn't matter. We don't need all that stuff. But this is a pretty sturdy tailgate. We've sat on here. Max weight limit, 300 pounds.
Okay.
We should be careful. We're both partying over here, but one of us can party for sure, and we got cup holders for that. Capacity, Brian, let's talk about weight capacity real quick. This actually has a little bit more than the 1,000 you mentioned. It has a 1160, according to the sticker on the side there, and we think that's because this is not the North Star Edition. So you can get the North Star Edition. This is the Ultimate. The North Star Edition gets you to the closed-in cab, so it adds weight, reducing its total weight capacity.
So on that one, just so everyone knows, that one has like full glass,
right,
all around, and so you
HVAC.
Also there you go, HVAC and power windows and stuff like that. So
yes.
You have heater and AC in that. So that is an option for you.
Well, that said though, Brian, this is the this is not the ADV5. This is just the ADV. So which means we don't have seats back here.
Right.
But we have plenty of cargo capacity. And I like that because you also get these nice tie down points. And and like Brian said, you can put the molly panels and you can put all kinds of accessories and gear. And that's really nice if you're going out and adventuring, taking base camp with you. Let's move on to the interior. All right, open the door, Brian. Let's do just like we do the cars. Check out the door sill. It is not padded. It is plastic because, well, again, it's a UTV.
Yeah.
Is really what's going on here. But everything's very durable and sturdy and just works for the mission that it's got. Its mission is to go off-road, not be comfortable. Well, actually comfortable. It is really
very comfortable.
Believe it or not,
great, yeah.
Those Fox shocks you mentioned make it nice. One of the things we love about this segment and this world in the UTV is everything's a little more old school. We get keys.
Yes.
I think you get a key, put it in, you start it up, and boom. Look at that. We also get dials, freaking dials and gauges. That's nice. Plenty of info in the middle here that you can toggle through. And plenty of info. One of the new things that's new to this segment is this right here. This is like a car. You can freaking get all the good stuff. And so you get you can change this little setting here, different layouts and displays. You can get navs, so you're actually off the grid. You can figure out where you're at. If you're on the trail still, you can connect your phone. It does technically have CarPlay. That's very interesting. And then you can hit this button, which is the all your settings and that fun stuff, music. and it does bump pretty well with these
Yeah.
JBLs, and we even get tweeters, Brian.
And these are all marine grade, so they work in all weather. Like I've pressure washed this interior, they're fine. You have more speakers up here. And I don't know if you can see over there, but there's a subwoofer on the passenger side and the kick panel. That's kind of cool.
Very good. Good to know. And Brian, the other cool things is, yeah, like you said, all these switches, rocker panels, they work. You actually have lights on this that work really good. There's some vehicles that don't have lights that work as good.
Amen. Not even the rigid stuff, just the headlights.
Correct, just the headlights alone. And then you also get more down here, Brian. You got your different modes down here: sport, standard, and comfort. I find comfort very lazy and annoying.
Yep.
Standard's kind of a good mid-grade. Sport's really just kind of leave it in sport. All right.
Yeah, it's a little snappy, but once you train your mind to it, it's perfect.
I feel like what it does though is it takes the clunkiness of the CVT out.
Well, here's my issue.
I like that.
I feel like off the line, it can be snappy if you're not ready for it. But you're right. It doesn't. The delay has gone from 0 to rolling.
All right, Brian. Let's talk about the passenger. Let's see if you got plenty of headroom. Get in here.
Oh,
we don't have a rear seat.
My helmet's not on right now, but I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be all right. Not a problem there. And Brian, you got a little knob there. What's that do?
This is the because over here you can't control anything. That's what that's for. We do have some storage crate that is dry.
Yes.
It's right here. It's got a weather strip behind it. We've got all of our OEM goodie stuff in here. It's not huge, but it actually goes down pretty far over here. It's like your phones, your wallet, and keys will get there and stay dry.
And you do get lockable storage here, which is pretty nice as well.
Yeah, I do like
nice
that.
to have that.
There's I want to open it. There's a safe in this thing. We got to unlock it, but pretty good. One more thing I want to point out, Craig, is this community understands you're going to accessorize things.
Yes.
Show them all these push-out panels.
Everywhere.
So you can order a universal, all kinds of stuff in here. You could do whatever you wanted. You could do left, right, rear lights, specific lights. You could do missiles. You could do smoke screen, whatever you're trying to do.
You need all those.
All I covered. We're on our hill, Craig. We've made some new trails up here. And I want to just go for a ride with that, and we'll hit all the trails out here with it.
No, you're moving too fast. There's more to the interior, Brian. Let's go with what really sets this thing apart than anything else. Because look, there's other side-by-side, there's other utility vehicles out there and all that fun stuff. But Brian, Polaris is the first to actually focus on the overlanding community.
Yes.
And you can't overland unless you have a rooftop tent.
Oh, that's right. Let's check that thing out.
Check it out. All right, Brian, and now we got the tent open after that little quick edit. And in all seriousness, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. It is helpful if you have two of you because you can actually just go quicker.
Right.
But even by yourself, if you're just taking your time and you do it right and don't get in a hurry, 5 minutes. It really doesn't take that long.
This took less than 5 minutes for sure.
Yeah.
The hard part is getting all the awning rods on. So why don't you show them what that is real quick?
Yeah, the awning rods, let's get up here. So this ladder, I really like this ladder, how it's kind of telescoping.
Yeah.
So you can kind of get it in the right spot because this is really high up compared to some other roof tents.
So we have rooftop tent on our Ranger, Craig, and its ladder, I don't think it's tall enough for the slope you're on right now with the Polaris.
We're not sure who makes this tent. It's a Polaris branded tent, but it's very similar to our other one. Let me go get these stakes real quick. Believe it or not, it doesn't smell too bad in there after we've used it. That's good. But Brian, here's what you get. You get these little bendy poles that fit in these little spots right here.
There you go. We're going to put our flap back down.
Put our flap down, and there's a little slot goes in right there. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, we got it.
And you get it in, and boom, Bob's your uncle. After
leave that on.
You can do the rain fly or not do the rain fly, but you can put them both in the same spot. And Brian, basically there's 2 of these on each side, so you have 8 total.
Right.
So you can open all the flaps up and windows. You don't have to, but it's preferable.
And we're not going to do them all, but
and
you
recommended.
You can do the side awning here so you have rain protection. So we actually, a little inside baseball on this, we actually took this to the Overland Expo in Colorado, and we slept on the expo floor, which is outdoor expo, in this tent crammed in one of the aisles. And we actually stood on all kinds of stuff around it to get, because we wanted all 4 sides open. And we did it in the dark, Craig. And what do you think? It took about half an hour between this and the other tent?
Yeah, it definitely took a little bit on the actual show floor.
Right. Now, the next day we did the same thing in a state park, and it took half the time easily.
Yeah,
in the sunlight.
You do it once, the next time it's way easier.
Yeah,
this is actually not a bad setup. It's really good. In fact, compared to our tent, I like how this rain fly actually
comes on the side
down.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because when I've been in our tent when it rains, and it holds a lot of water right here.
Yeah, I've noticed
what it does. But let's climb on it up in here. Let's show the people. Pull this up and you get in. And there is actually plenty of room. You can see, I think this is technically a 3-man tent, but 2 adults would actually fit comfortably in here.
So Craig, it's supposed to be equivocal to a queen size bed.
Fair enough. And it does come with a nice pad, which is actually comfortable. I've slept in it twice and not a problem at all. I had a really good sleep in it. And this is the part that makes this thing really cool. This whole, look, we've seen UTVs, we've seen side-by-sides, Brian.
Yeah.
But one is designed to have a tent on the top of it from the ground floor.
Not some homebrew situation.
No.
This roof rack is rated for all the weight while off-roading. That's a big difference. It's not going to flex and twist the roof rack.
And that's the game changer. So what you can do is you actually load your gear up 1,100 pounds. That's a lot.
It's a ton.
Brian. And so then you can keep all your gear. You get to the trailhead. You don't have to have a big off-road or mudder to get to the trailhead. You have your nice truck and you just pull it there.
Yeah.
You park, and then this soaks up all the bumps and gets you really far out into the wilderness,
Yep.
whether you're hunting or just enjoying the scenery. This is pretty cool.
It's awesome. I love it.
Enough of that. Let's take it for a ride.
Got it. Clear for takeoff?
Clear for takeoff, Brian. We're not going to do a 0 to 60 run, but we do have some Fox Sharks, so we can send it.
All right, Craig, let's take we got our trail loop on the hill now we've been working on. So let's try that out. We've got our helmet on for safety. It's a requirement from the community.
Safety first.
Got it in high, and I've got it one-wheel drive because we just don't need anything else for what we're doing.
Okay.
We got to start it up. Like you said in the review, Craig, this is a twin cylinder, good for 114 horsepower.
Yeah.
2-speed CVT with I love this right here. You have turf mode, which is one-wheel drive, rear diff lock, or all-wheel drive engaged. I like that a lot. So you've got all 4 wheels, just rear-wheel drive or one-wheel drive. So let's put it in high and just cruise our trails, Craig.
Let's do it.
So you feel that pitch back?
Yes. It's like being on a boat.
That's the boat part that I like so much. All right, so we're gonna floor it, Craig, on our straightaway and see if we can get on plane up here without having to go on the road.
Pretty good straight there. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, ready?
Yep, send it.
You wanna show the wheel? Because we got this one looking at us right here. All right, ready?
Yep.
I'm gonna put it in all-wheel drive so it lifts. Ready? Let's go. Ooh, baby.
Brian, I'll say this, the handle right here, very handy, especially when you're filming.
Definitely, I imagine so. So I love how it pitches back, and then when you let out throttle, it doesn't just snap forward. But this Fox Shocks really smooth out the transition of body weight.
Oh, it really does. No, it's unbelievable.
So we're gonna go on our loop here. We usually crawl this in ATVs. That's a big bump right there. Nothing. Felt like nothing. So we're doing 20 miles an hour now on this dirt. I'm gonna lock the rear diff here, so if we get, I don't know, an accidental slide or something. This is a bit of a dusty rooster right here. God, it just rooster tails so much.
Yeah, it just soaks everything up.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's the sweet spot in this thing. It just rides so well. Look, there's so much travel, Craig. A normal truck would have jumped right there.
Right.
And it just went over it, no big deal, like it didn't care.
And I think that's kind of the beauty of this thing. So, Brian, let's mention the overlanding aspect, though. There is a tent. How's that affecting the ride and drive on these trails?
Drastically. So what I mean by that is, actually on the trails it's okay. It's when you do the full throttle stuff, you feel all this weight up high, it pendulums back. But on trail, like, we haven't found bump stop. It's not leaning much more than I thought it would. Look at this dip right here. Show the people. This looks like nothing on camera, but it drops about 1.5 feet on the left here, and it feels incredibly stable over this.
Yeah, and I think what I like about it, Brian, is you can do, it's kind of a hybrid of everything. It's kind of it's not the fast at speed thing, but you do have the Fox Shocks. You can take some speed with safe and still be safe and comfortable. But then you can also just kind of get wherever you're wanting to go and have the tent with you and all your gear.
All the gear, so you can put a fridge behind us because there's enough space for that. I'm gonna pop this thing up real quick. Okay. Whew. How am I here? Okay, so I think one of the benefits of this, Craig, like you just said, is that for 2 people, this is maximized for storage in the rear.
Yes.
This rail bar is not just for rollover protection, it's weight rated for everything you're doing. And it's purpose built. There's nothing else in this segment or even in the automotive space that's this focus for overlanding.
Right.
Now let's talk about trade-offs, because there's clearly trade-offs from our side of the media space. A Jeep Gladiator can be had for $10,000 less than this.
Right. Has
air conditioning and a roof, soft top albeit.
But you know, but just gets you down some really hard trails.
That's where I was going to go. I'm not trying to rip on this. I'm just saying that for those that can't have a dedicated machine, this probably isn't for you. But those that are looking for, I want a tool made for this. That does a mix of mud. It does rock crawling. It has a winch for itself, and it can pack out. You can put your anchor batteries in here and that kind of stuff. I don't know if there's anything else in the segment or at all this is focused.
I think the little secret and maybe the nugget they've hit on, or the little sweet spot, is part of the problem with the overlanding scene, Brian, with the truck is you build your truck out, and now I don't really want to drive that far. I don't want to daily it.
Yeah, because you have the tent all the time on the road and stuff, and highways.
The beauty of this is you just build this out, you leave all your gear on it, and you just leave it.
Yeah.
Because normally you're driving your truck without all that crap. You can get a two-wheel drive truck Really
a bunch
cheap.
of money. Yeah,
Save a bunch of
absolutely.
money.
Rides
Tow-
better,
tow
better
the-
miles per gallon.
Tow this thing to where you want to go. Your gear's already on it. You're good to go.
Right.
Bada bing, Bob's your uncle.
It makes a ton of sense in that regard,
Right.
and you bring your base camp with you.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. Thanks for Polaris for sending this thing out. I'm glad we got to experience it. I've been really into it since it even came out. I will say I might spring for the North Star edition that gives you the air conditioner for the summer.
We do live in Texas, and that's the thing.
That's the thing. But I do love that you can just have the open air feeling like a Jeep. That's kind of cool too.
Fair
So
enough.
let us know what you would get, or if you think this is even viable for overlanding. Duh, it is. But is it viable for you? Are you considering this compared to a pickup truck that's built out with all the trade-offs of that?
I think that's the question. Yeah.
Right.
Do you do truck and this, or do you just do truck and then have all your stuff with you? Yeah, that's a great question. So,
Let us know below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
yeah.
Bye.